This is a response to Kamal Kamali, who sent in a question that represents an interest many of you have had, and so I wanted to respond. It has to do with the question of whether or not a political party, organized political party, is a necessary part of a transition from capitalism to some better socialist system in the future. This is a perennial question because it comes up in the minds of everybody who understands that human history is the history of change, and the change that we believe is progressive, whether it was going beyond slavery, whether it was going beyond feudalism, whether it is now a question of going beyond capitalism to something better. How is that going to be done? What are the means? How do you go about it? Well, first, let's be clear that the ways human beings come to understand that a system change is necessary are many, and they're very different one from the other. One person thinks that the system has to be changed because it's destroying the natural environment. These you might call ecologically focused people. Others think the system has to be changed because the way it has organized the relationships between males and females leaves so much to be desired, is so unjust, that you must change the system because the system is part of what has produced and reproduced over time the very unequal relationship between men and women. And then there are those who approach it because of the inequality between rich and poor, between white and black. There are still others who say that this is a system that is so prone to war, and war on an increasingly international scale, that there needs to be some change of system, if only to stop what seems to be an endless series of great power confrontations. You know, capitalism has to its dubious credit the production of the two great world wars of the 20th century. And the whole of the 21st century has been involved in one localized war after another, always threatening us, always producing nuclear weapons that could literally annihilate the planet, and so on. So for these, and I've left out many more, for these many reasons, people arrive at the notion of the need for system change in different ways. And indeed, they understand what the system is and how to change it and what kind of system to put in its place in also different ways. If we leave them all to do their different plans, their different actions, their different projections into the future on their own, it's hard to see how that could add up to enough force, enough people, enough commitment to make the change happen. After all, those who don't want change, the status quo, the governments of this world, the elites of this world, they're highly organized. They do possess the army and the police and the apparatus of the mass media and so on. So they are a formidable force against change. And the ultimate logic of why a political party is basically the following. To meet the organized force against change, you have to have an organized force for change. And I don't mean force in terms of any necessary violence, although that's part of the story through most of human history. What I mean is coordination. Different groups with different priorities, understanding that while they have different priorities, they have a shared desire in being strong enough to get beyond this system, to being able to do better than capitalism. So the final point, yes, I think we need an organized political party. Not a dictatorial one, not one that denies the differences amongst us, but one that honestly brings us together so that together we have the force we would not have alone in our individual moments and movements. Thank you for your attention. and I look forward to speaking with you again in the near future.